great day, attractive thinker and visual encouragers. Y'all just come on in. I'm so excited. Come on in with your attractive thinker notebooks handy. We are delighted to be back with you. We trust that you had a fantastic and amazing day. It is a great day to be alive. You always hear us say that. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist, here hosting Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance with my co-host, Tichet Bradshaw. Welcome, Tichet.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. We made it again and again and again. We get to do what we never did, go where we've never gone, and have all that we deserve to have. Before we start, I would like to say happy birthday to my partner in power, Dr. Toni. She just celebrated another glorious birthday. This is a new season and a new year. May this be the beginning of your best years to come, and may all the abundance, the joy, the peace, the love, and the power overflow in your life. Happy birthday. It's a great day to be alive.
Yes, thank you so much. I totally appreciate that, and all of your birthday wishes that you sent to me to shed. It was wonderful to wake up to that. Thank you so much. It is a great day to be alive. Attractive thinkers and visual encouragers, sometimes in life, we feel as though we're trying to accomplish our goals, especially as new and aspiring entrepreneurs. We have these ideas and they're just constantly flowing. And sometimes we know how to get them accomplished and sometimes we're struggling. But, there comes a time in our lives whereas we no longer rely on our own ability. We no longer rely on the things that we know, the actions that we know we should take. We're no longer relying on what is humanly possible to accomplish, because we understand that sometimes all you need is a will. We're going to free you up today, because you might be saying to yourself, well, I have to wait until I get the money before I start my dream, or I have to wait until I move before I can write my book, or I have to wait until my children are grown before I can start my business idea. I have to wait until I graduate, or I have to wait till I get married, or I have to wait until I get divorced, or I have to wait until next year, or I have to wait until this happens or that happens, or I get a new job, or I quit this job. Whatever it might be, you don't have to wait for anything, because where there's a will, there is a way. Tichet, talk to us today about that.
Let me tell you something. When we have a will to do something, there's no stopping us from there. There's no excuse that could come up that can get in the way of what we are willing to do. As a matter of fact, at the end of everybody's day, what got done was your will. What got done was what you were willing to do, not what you wanted to do, not what you needed to be done, not what needed to be done, but what you were willing to do. When you have a will for something, that strength goes in and make it necessary, make it possible, and then helps you manifest it. Because when you have a will, you will find a way. There's no, oh, I can't because of this or because of that, or I can't and I won't and I don't. No, when you have a will, I don't care what happens, you're going to do that. Like, for instance, a lot of us are willing to go to work, and a lot of us are willing to go to work so that we can get a paycheck, so that we can pay some of these bills, right? And a lot of us will not miss a day of work. So because we know that that's going to affect our paycheck, right? So no matter what happens in life, you go to work. Rather you stub your toe, you go hopping into work. Rather something happen, you might go in late, but you're going to get the work done because you're going to get that paycheck, because you're willing to pay your bills, right? There's nothing, even if you got sick, you would take a moment to yourself and then you will come right back in and get to work. Or you're going to take advantage of the necessary resources that helps you with that. Let's say you might have PTO, vacation time, sick time. You're going to make sure that you access resources that will help you with the end result, which is paying your bills, right? And so with that will, you're going to make sure that your bills get paid, because the consequences that is behind the will is what we're trying to get done. So we have to understand what we're willing to do. What is the why you're willing to do it? That helps contribute to why you're willing and what you're willing to do. So it's like a cycle. You want this result, but what are you willing to do to get that result? What are you willing to try in order to break free from what's been holding you back? What are you willing to learn? What are you willing to let go? What are you willing to see? What are you willing to reach for? Are you willing to jump? Are you willing to go? Are you willing to push past? And are you willing to persevere? Because a lot of times we want the outcome, but we don't have the will. We just have the want. See, we can, I wanna all day long. But until you're willing, that's when you are willing to do something, that is when you'll push past whatever's facing you. You know, we get stuff in front of us all the time. They could either be a stop sign, it could be a hurdle, or it can be a wall. Now, depending on who you're talking to and what their why is that's driving them, even a wall can become a hurdle, because you'll climb up that wall, go around it, whatever you got to do to get over that wall or knock it down. You'll do whatever you got to do to get around that wall if your will is strong enough and if your why is strong enough. So a lot of us is like, how do we turn our wants into wills? I think understanding our whys is what can help us go for our wills. I think understanding the consequences of a certain thing and saying that, okay, I'm committed to this consequence. I'm committed to this outcome. I'm committed to the results of this. For me, it was like with weight loss, when I was on my weight loss journey, and I was, I wanted to lose, I think at the time I wanted to lose like 30 pounds, and I did. My desire to not be sick was a strong enough why to make me willing to not go to bed until I did that workout. My desire made me not willing to give up. There's some days when I did want to give up, but then the next day I would pick it back up again because quitting was not an option. Now, you can take a break, but quitting is not an option when your will is strong enough. And then there was times where I was willing to sacrifice the way that I ate in order to see the results of not being sick. So I put my results, my weight loss journey results, in front of my willing to taste something that tastes absolutely phenomenal, amazing, that lasts a few seconds, and then your stomach gets it. So it's, what are we willing to sacrifice for our outcome? What are we willing to create for our outcome? Because we want all day long, I wanna, and until we're willing, that want will stay stagnant. So as a visionary and attractive thinker, stagnant is not on our to-do list. Stagnant is not something we're willing to do. Stagnant is for those that don't want to have vision. That's for those that are comfortable where they are. But we are not comfortable where we are, because we are happy with evolving. We are happy with growing. We're happy with strength and power. And so with that, we're willing to make some sacrifices in order to get where we want to go, because where we want to go, the results is too grand and too great. And we end up reaching our goals because we had a will, and where there's a will, there's a way. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
So fantastic and amazing, Tichet. I really want our audience to get what we're saying today and understand the power of a will. Your will, Tichet, it was so many things you said, and I'm going to go over them with a fine-tooth comb, because I really want our audience to really understand that it's not what you think that's holding you back that's really holding you back. Those are excuses for the lack of a will. And I like when you said, how do you turn your wants into wills? But before we get there, let's go back. You said where there's a will, there's no stopping us. So the will is what keeps you moving forward. If there's no stopping us, that means you still have the momentum and the fuel and the fire and the passion and the drive to keep going in the face of adversity. Where there's a will will keep you going, even through obstacles, even through the unexpected, even through things, monkey wrenches, frustrations, disappointments, setbacks. Your will, attractive thinker, is the fuel to you reaching your goal no matter what. So I want you to think about that. Write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. Do I have the will to accomplish this goal, to become an entrepreneur, to write my book? Coaching attractive thinkers all of the time for years, I'm very familiar with the reasons that they give for why it has taken so long to write their book. Life got in the way. They said, I don't have the money, or I'm too busy, or I was distracted, or I put this in front of it. I put other things in front of it, or I didn't think it was important enough, or somebody wrote a book like that, so I didn't feel like my book was necessary. All kinds of excuses that they thought were real reasons and justifiable reasons for why they hadn't written their book yet. But they were all due to the lack of a strong will. So when you were talking to Chet, you said at the end of the day, what got done was the will. All throughout the day, with ease, we're doing exactly what we will to do. We're doing exactly what we want to do. I want you to think about this. You said when you have a will, I don't care what happens, you'll get it done. You need a I don't care what happens spirit when you're going for your destiny in life, when you're going for leaving a mark in your life, when you're trying to create a legacy for yourself, when you're embracing freedom and peace and joy and bliss and abundance, that you want to experience for your life while you're here. You're going to have an I don't care what happens spirit. I can go over my life with a fine-tooth comb and share to Chet story after story after story after story, experience after experience, opposition after opposition after opposition. Every single time that I went to pursue something that was out of the norm, I was faced with opposition. You mentioned something here to Chet, and you said, how do you turn your wants into a will? What made me think about this for right now, you said you have to understand your why, but this is one right here that most people haven't even heard before: being committed to the consequences. Being committed to the consequences of you taking a stand for what you want in your life. There will be consequences. Can you handle the consequences? Because when you have your will in place, it will drive you through walls. It will drive you through barriers and obstacles. It will drive you through the fire. Are you willing to embrace and be committed to those consequences so that you can have what you're worthy of having in this life? Something else you said to Chet, and I took some notes because things started resonating with me. If it's the will that gets the job done.
Yes.
It's the will that makes your actions get results. It's possible to take action and not get results because the action has to be fueled by something. Your actions have to be fueled by a strong why, like you said to Chet, a burning desire, a strong will. So there's some clarity that has to take place first before you start taking action in your business, before you start writing your book, and before you start putting your ideas together. There's some preparation that has to take place before the preparation. I want you to understand that, attractive thinker and visual encourager. So it's not the excuses that are the reason, is the will in place. Did you build the right foundation before you started taking action? Did you build the right foundation before you started writing your book? The foundation has to be built inside first, with being clear on your why, being clear and setting clear intentions on what you intend to get from writing your book or from launching your business idea. See, it sounds good when you say, oh my God, like I have an idea, and somebody says, wow, you should write a book or start a business. That's a good idea for a business. You should do that. That sounds great. And you can run out here and try to put all the parts and pieces together to make that happen. But when you get to where you're going, like the three little pigs, When the big bad wolf comes and he blows down your house because the foundation wasn't there, what are you going to do? When the opposition of life comes and you've built your business, but you didn't put the foundation, what is the foundation? Your will. Because when your will is in place, it doesn't matter what comes up against your business. You automatically know, well, okay, we're going to deal with this, we're going to handle it, but we're still going to be in business. We're still going to market and push these products and services because we belong here. My products and services belong in the marketplace. They are a solution. We are a household name. So it doesn't matter. But see, if you don't have that will in place and that big why and your intention and the benefits and the consequences and all that, you gotta consider all of that before you launch your business. If that's not in place, the first knock on your door that's contrary to your dream, you're gonna close up shop. You're gonna take it personal instead of using it as preparation. You get all of your internal stuff, all your internal traumas and insecurities and self-esteem issues, and all of that stuff is going to rise to the surface at the first sign of opposition, and you're going to stop writing the book. You're going to not feel worthy to write your story. Attractive thinker. So these are prerequisites. These are things that need to be in place as a strong foundation prior to, and this is the foundation that you build your dream on. This is the foundation that you write your book on. So think about it. When you start writing your book, you're going to face opposition. People say, you're writing a book, girl, please. Nobody want to hear you. Ain't got nothing. Ain't nothing you can tell me. So what you going to do when they say that? You're going to run, tuck your tail and hide? You're going to throw the book under the table? I remember my first book, Tichet. I wrote the book. I had finished the manuscript and everything. It was just waiting to be edited and, taken to the designer phase and all of that. And I wrote it. It was all typed out in the Word document. I even had a printed copy, and it was sitting on the floor near my bed under the night table for a long time. I never took it to the next phase. And I happened to be on the phone with a friend one day, and we were just casually talking, and we ended up talking about something, and my book came up. And I said, yeah, I finished the manuscript and everything. She said, so where is it? And I said, well, it's, sitting on the floor under the night table. She said, so you took the time to be responsible for the inspiration that God gave you to write the book, and now you're tripping. And now you're tripping. So that was very confronting for me. She was like, okay, so why would you go this far and not go all the way? So I had to face the roadblock. I had to face what was facing me. I had to confront what was confronting me in order for me to get over that and release the book. A lot of times we're in our own way. We're holding our own selves back because we don't have the foundation in place. I never considered a will. I never considered my reason why. I just wrote the book because I knew I had a powerful story to share. I knew it would help someone else, but I also had to get in touch with me, the person who's writing the book, because I'm the vessel. I'm the one that's going to push this book out here. And if I'm not whole, if there's no will in me, this book will never make it to the marketplace. And if it does, where's the fuel and the fire going to come from to get it in all of the areas that it needs to be in and into the right hands of people that need to hear the story? If I'm just all over the place and there's no foundation. So where there is a will, and like Tichet said, how do you turn your wants into a will? Sit down and ask yourself, why? Why do I want to write this book? What is the result that I want the reader to get? Who is it that can benefit the most from this book? What benefits will I receive from the book? You have to even consider that. Don't just write a book just to give it away and toss it to the wind. What are you going to get from it? What do you want to get from it? What is your intention? See, this is how you build the foundation. When you build this in you, you'll be able to withstand the storms of life when they start blowing in your direction. I want you to think about that, because where there is a will, Tichet, I have so many stories, it's crazy. I remember one time I was asking someone to help me do something. It was a project that I was working on. I needed an extra set of hands. And they turned to me and they looked at the project that I had, and I was just asking for an extra set of hands. Can you hold this while I twist this? Or can you hold this while I turn that? And when they looked at all that it entailed and the weight of it, because it was a heavy item to hold, when they looked at all of that, they weren't up for the consequences. They weren't committed to the consequences or what they had to go through to help finish this project. And they began to make excuses. Oh, why do you need to do that? You don't need to put that there or build that or make that. Or why don't you just leave that there? Maybe we could get to it later. A lot of excuses when the real issue was you really didn't want to help me anyway. The will to help me wasn't there. I'm sharing this with you, attractive thinker and visual encourager, because I want you to understand that the reasons that you have for not writing your book and not launching that business idea that keeps popping up and that you've had for years, the real reason is not the excuses that you think they are. It's not the excuses that you give name to. You keep saying is this or is that, and it's really not. You got to establish your will, because your will is like an engine. You just rev it up. When you get that will in place, you can hear, vroom, vroom, and it's that tenacity, it's that determination that's going to drive you to the destination, to the completed project that you're working on. That's what's going to drive you to having your book in hand. And it's funny, I was looking at this to share, and I need to share this book right here, this resource. I just finished this. I've been working on it for a long time, for about 3 years now. And as you can see, it's very thick. This is a 726-page book that I wrote for the attractive thinker generation. Okay. Can you see that? And it took a lot of commitment. It took a lot of determination. Don't think that there were no obstacles. Yes, there were obstacles. Don't think that I didn't have negative voices, internal and external. Why are you writing that book? Or why don't you cut it off and make a series or make volumes? That's not what God said. That's not what came to me. That wasn't the vision. I had attractive thinkers in mind, and I was trying my best to anticipate all of the obstacles that you would encounter on your journey to completing your book and starting your business. And I just want you to understand that the only reason that I have this book in my hand is because where there was a will, my will made the way. Back to you, Tichet.
Something that came to me while you were talking, when you talked about the foundation, and you said clarity and preparation, right? Mm-hmm. Clarity is big, mm-hmm. because when you have, a lot of us don't understand our why because we don't have clarity. We don't understand why our why is, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Some of us might be might have been living more on the surface, but now the deep is calling, right? And so now you got to dig deep down into your spirit to why you do what you do, because how you do anything is how you do everything. When you're building a foundation, you have to become clear on who you are, what you are, who you're not, and what you are not, in order to determine what you will do and what you will not do. Mm-hmm. When we think about life as who we are, our will is kind of summed up into the clarity of who we are. When you think about our life, our will is summed up into the clarity about who we are. I'm not going to go out here and do something I am not. I'm not going to go out here and pull teeth. I am not a dentist. So if I find myself in a position where I feel like I got to pull teeth to get somebody to do something, then clearly my will for them was stronger and their will is non-existent. So I have to then understand what my will is to try to get them to do mm-hmm. what I want them to do. And then I have to understand that me imposing my will on somebody else is wasting my time, because I'm operating out of who I'm not, and that's a dentist. I did not go to dental school. We do not pull teeth. So if somebody is willing to have power, and somebody is willing to walk with us, and somebody is willing to share in your experiences and trade ideas and keep increasing the wisdom and things like that, if they're willing to do those things, then we're willing to help. But if they don't have the will because they don't have the clarity about who they are, then we have to work on the clarity first. Because once we work on the clarity and we understand the preparation that it takes for that will, we understand that when we get where we think we going on that journey, that our will and our clarity is what's going to sustain that outcome. Because you can have the desire to go and look at some homes, right? You can have the desire all you want. I want to move in here. I want to move in here. But if you don't understand who you are, why you are, and what you are, then you're not going to put forth everything that's needed in order to maintain, or in order to get the home, and to obtain it, and then to maintain it and sustain it, because you're so your desire is there, yes, but your will is not there. I want to go over the definition of will, and it says a fixed and persistent intent or purpose. And it says where there's a will, there's a way. So God knew with this definition, but it says the capability of conscious choice and decision and intention. You know, the thing about it is when we have an intention on something, there's no turning back from that. Our intention actually goes out first, because believe it or not, you can operate under your intentions subconsciously. Meaning, if there's a person that you are dealing with and their intentions is not lining up with what you're doing, subconsciously they're going to operate out of their intentions, and it's up to us to see what that intention is, so that we can't overlook their intention, because we are willing to have an outcome that's different from the outcome that they want. Everybody does not want your outcome. Everybody does not want to be healed. Believe it or not, sadly to say, everybody does not want to be free. Some people are comfortable in their suffering. Some people are comfortable in hurting. Some people are comfortable in their restrictions. They're good in their comfort zone. And again, if that's their will, then that has to be okay with me for them. But when it comes to me, I'm not comfortable in staying stagnant, stale, and stuck, because after a while, my soul is going to cry out for more. I'm going to want more. I'm going to want to walk into more. And the reason why I pay attention to that now is because I have clarity in who I am, and I was willing to be in continuous preparation for the journey that I wanted to take, because I understand the journey that I wanted to take is never ending. It's ever evolving. Soon as I get where I think I wanted to go, there's more, something I want to do more. I discover more about myself. At every level, I discover more and more has to be done, and more is I am learning. And I'm taking that experience and I'm enjoying that experience, because we say it's always something, as if there's a bad thing. You know, it's not always something that's always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a positive thing too, because that something stretches us. That something helps shapes us. It chisels us. That something helps us learn something more about ourselves that we didn't know. That something allows us to grow. You know, we have to have moments of something in order to build. You get what I'm saying? Because we're not comfortable in being nothing. We are not comfortable in sitting there and not doing a thing. Something in our spirit will say, okay, you didn't do well. You didn't do this right. There's that drive in there that's there for a reason. That drive in there is not going to let you sit there and do nothing. It'll keep speaking in the back of your mind. It's going to keep speaking. And so with that drive, we have to recognize why that drive is there. And once we get clarity of who we are and why we are, then we can understand what we need to do to walk in to who we are more and more and more, because we're growing. Just when you learn yourself, just when you think you know yourself, boom, another thing. I'm discovering more things about myself now than I've ever did in my entire life. I'm discovering more passions and desires and things I love that I didn't even know that I love, but that clarity came with me walking in my why, walking in the I want to know who I am. I want to know, discover more about myself. I want to be free. I want to have desire. I want to have peace. I want to let go of things that's not serving me, or things that no longer fits me. I want to walk into a higher state of consciousness. I want to walk into higher vibration. I want to be more conscious about what I'm doing in my life. I don't want to just take on the traditions of people and don't know how or why I'm doing these traditions. I want growth, right? And so that was my why. I wanted growth. And so with that desire came some things. It came, it came with some goals. It came with some things that I needed to do. That why, that clarity came with some journeys and some roads and some things I had to break through. It came with some understanding of, there's some stuff I needed to let go of. There's some stuff I needed to take off of me, because I can't take everything with me. You cannot walk through a door with everything you've ever collected in your entire life. You're going to have to let go of some things. Now, the thing is a lot of us are afraid to let go of things because we are afraid to not have anything in its place or not get anything back. And again, that falls into clarity, and that falls into not knowing who we are, because as visionaries, as attractive thinkers, we know we're growing, we know we're building, we know that no matter what, if I let that go, this is going to be replaced. If I put out, I'll receive 100-fold. We know that whatever blessings we give is going to come back to us. So if we let it go and let it out, we know that that there's more waiting for us down the road in the journey, you know. So when we get clarity of who we are, that will starts to build up, and it starts to come in the form of drive. That will comes in the form of drive, and it's like, you're like, okay, I gotta get going, I gotta do this. And it's almost like you can't sit still, you have to do this. And then when you come to the end of your day or the end of a season, you can look back and see what that drive made you do. You can look back and see what your will was. When you, as a matter of fact, at the end of this day, at the end of this month, and at the end of this year, I want you to reflect, look back and see what you were willing to do today. And then ask yourself, what was it that I wanted to do today that I didn't do? And then figure out why you didn't do it. And if it was possible for you to do, why didn't you have the will to do it? Because we let excuses come in when we don't have a will. When you have a will, there's always a way. There are some people who will never do without certain things. When you are shifting and shaping your life, you are shifting and shaping according to what you're willing to have, what you're willing to be, and what you're willing to do. You're shaping. There are some people, for instance, I said, on this next move, when I moved, I said, I'm not willing to have a home without a garage, because I want to do my projects and stuff in the garage. So I wasn't willing to accept anything less than that. And guess what? The will came, the will drove me, and I got what I was willing to live. And some people might say, well, I can't afford and I can't do, and everybody can. You're not willing to. You're willing to accept less because you're afraid that you can't. All things are possible. And as long as you understand that, you can be willing. All you have to do is have the will to get what you wanted, what you call life, whatever you call peace, whatever you call joy and love. All you have to do is have the will, and then be willing to go on a journey. And you'll, believe it or not, that will turn into a desire, and it will make a way. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
So fantastic and amazing, Tichet. You are absolutely right. And the more you talk, I began to feel your passion and your drive and that determination spirit, that is necessary when it's time to accomplish these entrepreneurial goals that we have, or any goal that you have in life. Something that you said made me write down when you let go, because you said with clarity comes some things. That struck a chord with me, because I have a chapter in the book that talks about vision, being clarity, and vision has friends. There are some friends that come along with vision that you don't have to pursue. You begin to attract them because they come along with vision. But where there's no vision, You don't have Vision's friends either. You don't have those other entities to accommodate you, to support you in reaching your goal. So, like you said, when you're moving forward into this new space, anytime you want to do anything new, transform your life, write a book, start a business, do anything new, maybe change your image, cut your hair, whatever it is, there's some things that you have to let go of in order to embrace these new things. You have to let go of the old way of living, the old way you used to look, in order to embrace a new look. You can't go to the hairdresser and ask them to make your hair look the same way you used to get your hair, but you really want your hair to look new. I want my hair to change. Give me a new hairstyle. But then you keep telling them, oh, push it over this side. Or, oh, no, don't cut that much. Or, oh, did it? And but by the time they're finished, your hairstyle looks the same way you did when you sat down. You know, new means new. And it means you have to let go of the old. You have to let go of what you used to look like, so that you can embrace something about yourself that you've never even seen before. Do you know the way you look right now, that there's another way to look for you to look? There's another way for you to look. People around you are used to you looking like you look. They're used to seeing your hair that way. They're used to seeing you wear a certain style of clothing. But do you know that there is a whole other version of you that nobody has ever seen yet? And it's up to you. You have to have the will to let this person out, to show the world who this person is. It's possible. You know, we all have these little secret desires. I want to color my hair purple. And the only reason you don't see a lot of people walking around with purple hair, you know, they haven't gotten over other people's opinions. They're afraid. Here's one. They're afraid of their own greatness. They're afraid to shine and reveal and express who they really are and what they really feel, because, you know, of fear of what others might say or what they might look like or how people are going to receive them and things like that. But when that will is in place, like you said, Tichet, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. There's nothing in your way. And there, number one, there are no more excuses. When there's a will, there's clarity. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist. Again, I want you to stay tuned, because the Attractive Thinker experience is right around the corner. And I'm going to let you know when it's available on Amazon. This is not a book. It is an experience for attractive thinkers only, for visual encouragers only, people who have the will for the way that they desire to manifest in their lives. Tell us, Tichet, how can our audience get in touch with you, the visual encourager?
Absolutely. You can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers, for trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers, people who desire to move mountains but need help lifting the heaviness so that you can create a new vision for yourself. Go to my contact us page, put in your information, let me know how I can uplift you, enlighten you, and encourage you so that you can live a life of vision, the life you dream of, beyond the break. Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tichet. It was such a pleasure sharing space and time with you today. And I appreciate your contribution to this Beyond the Break movement, supporting attractive thinkers and visual encouragers and living life beyond a break, be it a heartbreak or a break in a success. Visit our website at www.theattractivethinker.guru so that you can get the support that you need to write your book and launch your business ideas. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, schedule a complimentary Get Unstuck coaching session to help you remove the obstacles and get out of your own way. Also on our website, you'll see more details about this 726-page hardcover full color resource created just for you. You always hear us say, my life's work, that's to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through, it's how you're doing it. Think attractively, and we'll see you soon.